Okay, you can record now. So I see you're so very ready. So whenever you want to start.
Thank you. We are already extracting more resources than Earth can sustain in the long run. And according to experts, we have little time to change the way that we produce our food before we starve. Since I was a child, I always thought that food is the only essential thing that we need to survive. While I was growing up and knowing more about the global issues, I realized that hunger is one of the worst problems that we have. These problems affect more than 800 million of people around the world. So I always try to figure out how to solve this problem. And one day, when I was 13, an idea came to my head. How about we clone food? So in that way, we are only going to need one sample and we can generate millions. In that moment, it sounds kind of impossible, but when I was in high school, I realized that that idea could be a reality. There is only one solution, and it's called cell replication. In that moment, that idea came like a glove with the current situation, because in August 22 of the present year, we already have finished it with the natural resources that were destined for this year. Now, I ask you, knowing that the population grows year after year and the natural resources are being depleted faster and faster, how long do you think it will be before food becomes scarce? Well, according to the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change, we only have 10 years before natural resources are depleted and the animal from which we get food become extinct. Simply put, we only have 10 years to change the way that we produce our food or we are going to die. But now, what is cell replication? With biotechnology, we can take a small numbers of cells from living animals and growing them in a controlled environment to create food. This by only using a system that can provide and support specific biological conditions that is called bioreactor. This is now a reality, and this kind of food is sold in selective restaurants. But sadly, according to the US Food and Drug Administration, the advances in biotechnology are not advanced enough to generate cheaper processes. So the amount of food produced by this method is very limited, and it has a very high price. In addition to this, some governments of the world do not allocate a budget for the development of this type of progresses in biotechnology. We have to begin to recognize biotechnology and cell replication as the key of our survival and to having better living conditions. Because if we start producing our food by this way, two major problems will be solved. First, air pollution will be reduced by 24% because livestock activity will be reduced exponentially. And second, the amount of natural resources that we use to produce our food will be greatly reduced because according to the Food and Agriculture Organization, 70% of the total amount of natural resources are used for livestock and agriculture production. This solution represents the only way that humans can adapt to the future condition of the environment. You might think that if we change our consumption habits or we change the amount of resources that we use to produce our food, we can avoid our imminent future. But over the past decade, all the strategies that try to reduce consumption have not had good results. So we can conclude that it's not a question of changing consumption habits, but of changing our production processes and generating suitable solutions for the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Arturo. Very good. Thank you. Time. Thank you, and thank you to the community for their support. All right. Very good. See? So far, so good.
Teacher, if I stop the